Gladys in rural Nova Scotia.
Can we unplug the phones?
Sure, yeah, if you want me to.
Can I say hello? Or
Yeah.
Hi. How'd you do last night? No better? Oh, God. Well, listen, hon, I have company, so you call me later. And if you don't hear from me, you give me a call. Okay, hon. Some days I get phone call after phone call.
You're a popular lady.
You'll have a job interviewing me. You said a couple hours. You'll be lucky to get it done in a day.
You get more phone calls in an hour than I get
in a week.
Oh, I could get 7 phone calls in an hour unless I talk to one person for that hour.
Gladys, rural Nova Scotia. Take 2.
My name's Gladys, and I live on the eastern shore of Nova Scotia. It's a rural community, very small and very friendly. And I'm 91 years old. About my earliest memories are when I was about 7 years old. I can't seem to remember much before that. And I can remember in 1939, my father bought a beautiful big radio. That was a big thing. And I can remember playing with all my childhood friends. And my childhood friends became my lifetime friends.
So how did you meet your husband? How did you
Oh,
guys?
well, there were a couple of canteens or restaurants. Everybody would come and gather and hang out, I guess is what you'd call it. And the men from here would also happened to have an old car. Not everybody had a car. But the ones who had cars, they'd come to Sheet Harbour. And I guess that's how I saw him. He was sitting in his car, and he said that when he saw me walking along the road, he said, "That's the girl I'm going to marry." So, lo and behold, he did. If there's such a thing as love at first sight, well, that's what it was. I was about 14.
Oh, wow.
We got married when I was 16, and we were just waiting for me to become 16.
If you had a favorite season of life with your husband, whether it was having young kids or just being married without kids, or what was your favorite time of life with him?
I think for me, my happiest time in life was having my babies. Yeah, I think it was. And also having the babies was the time when we had the least of, anything. I liked having my babies, and I always wanted a dozen. But my husband thought that was foolish. Don't be so foolish, he says. 4's enough.
4 is a good number, though.
Yeah, I know, but just think now how many more I could have coming. The
phone would never stop ringing.
I love people. I love people around me and stuff, yeah. I don't suppose you'd know what it was like to go carry your water from the well. And the well was not right beside the house either. You had to go down a path to get the water. Carry the water. When you're going to wash, you put every pan you have, your roaster pan goes in the oven, your dish pan and all your pots go on top of the stove. And then there's a reservoir, a tank on the side of your stove, your wood stove. And that gets filled. You fill everything up, and your man's away. He's not there to carry the water for you. He's away working. You do all that, then you heat your water on the wood stove. Then you wash your clothes on the washboard. And I did that until after I had 3 children. But boys, when you hung out that line of diapers or that line of clothes, you were proud of them. Yeah. You washed them, and then you had to rinse them, had more water to rinse them with. Yeah. So a lot of people didn't know that over the years. People didn't have to carry water. You knew your water came out the tap. But when we built the house and moved in, we still had to take water out of the well with a bucket because we just built our house when we had money. If we had money to do something, we did it. We were 10 years getting everything done before the bathroom and everything was in. We built this house ourselves. Basil built the house.
Wow.
Yeah. when you didn't have any of that stuff, each thing you got, like when we got the cold water in, oh boy, that's wonderful, no more going to the well. And then when we put a hot water coil around the wood stove, that was wonderful. No more boiling the kettle on the stove, you know, you had hot water. So everything was good. Everything you got, you thought was the best.
Do you have like a favorite memory with Basil?
I guess going to the camp would be my favorite. Being on the water and go. He lobster fish, so he had a boat, and we built a camp on an island in about 1968 or 67, and we used to go down there whenever we could, you know, for weekends, or sometimes we stay almost a week. I love that, and even yet, seeing boats on the water makes me lonesome. I'd like to be on, you know.
I know the ocean is both extremely beautiful and extremely terrifying at times.
Yeah, I was never frightened in the boat, no. I remember one time we went down and it was really foggy and you couldn't see and you just had to, you know, rely on the compass. Of course, you knew the route. And he stopped the boat to listen if he could hear the sea rolling on one of the little islands on the way down. And he said, you know, he was concerned about it. It was just like we were in this little circle, not much bigger than the kitchen. The fog was so thick. And I laughed. I said, you know, about not being able to see and that, but I wasn't even frightened then. And when we got to the camp, he said, you shouldn't have laughed. And I said, well, what would you have me do? Gnash my teeth and cry and go on?
He sounds like a character.
Oh, he was a good man.
Yeah.
Yeah. He knew so much and could remember so much. Yeah. Yeah. And then in the end, he got strokes, and he'd say every stroke took a little bit of something from him. And then he got that he couldn't walk alone and things like that when he got old. Yeah. I would like to think that we loved each other right to the end. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, it was hard. But I don't mind living alone.
You're not really alone.
No, I'm hardly ever alone.
Yeah.
I feel that, you know, I'm very lucky. I think every day I get up is a gift from God. And I conquered cancer 3 times.
3
Really?
times?
Yes.
I didn't know that.
Yes, I did.
Wow.
Yeah. Like one friend told me I'm a tough old bird.
Yeah.
They were in Florida and I called and told them I had cancer. You'll beat it, Gladys. You're a tough old bird. And I've always said I would rather have cancer than dementia or Alzheimer's. If you don't know anybody and nobody knows you, you know.
What makes you so resilient? You know, you've been through cancer 3 times, you know, you've lost your husband who you were with.
Stubbornness? just not, I just don't give in, you know. I guess I don't like to say no to things. I don't like to be negative. I like to think of, and you know, and I don't even think of dying as negative. Because I mean, I've had a good life. When my time comes, I don't want anyone to feel bad about it. You know, because I've had a good full life. No, I treasure every day that I have. Yeah.
You live a beautiful life.
I do live. You know, when I think of it, I do live a beautiful life. I have lots of friends, or I come home and lock my door and pretend I'm not home.
How do you want people to remember you when you're gone?
I guess that I was kind to them.
Yeah.
I think, and people are telling me that now, you know. I guess maybe that's a nice thing to think, that you've been kind to people. Yeah. And I haven't knowingly hurt anybody, you know, that I know of. And if I did, I'm sorry.
Something's telling me you haven't.
That was really beautiful.
Yeah,
Thank you for
thank you.
sharing your wisdom.
Do you think
and-
that was good?
That was so
Yes,
Do ya?
good. Yeah,
Incredible.
that was really awesome.
Things that really
I
matter.
tell you, I feel loved because people love me.
Yeah.
Now we'll warm that chicken pie and eat it, eh?
Ooh,
Here, let's-
yes.
Should we just warm it in the microwave? No,
yeah.
I should stick it in that little toaster oven for a few minutes.
Looking back on your life, what would be some advice that you would give to your younger self?
Don't be influenced by other people, I guess. Do your own thing. Yeah. Be kind and generous to people. True and honest. Don't be lying to people. You know, if people don't like you as you are, well, that's too bad. And I never ever minded asking people to come to my house. If they thought I didn't have much, that didn't matter to me. I just love people. Yeah, I wouldn't be happy being alone. People drop in here all the time. Yeah. And I don't mind it. I don't, they come in. If I'm in a mess, so be it. I might have the cupboard full of stuff and be doing something, But they still come back.